This is Providence Television International, the game changer.
Welcome to the newspaper analysis on Providence Television International. I am Ugbebo Ikekwa. Yes, I know our presence back here again is going to put so much smiles on your faces out there. Actually, due to some issues, call of duty and all that, we haven't actually aired the program. But then it feels good being back again. With me in the studio is Dr. Emmanuel Egariba. You're welcome.
Yes, honestly, it's nice to be back. We've had a lot of reactions from viewers, both here and abroad, and they've been wondering what's been happening. But again, as I explained, it's been some huge call of duty, really. So, but we've come over again. We've come over again to do what we have been doing, and I'm happy to be back. Thank you.
Yes, and then we'll go down to the first story for the day. The Catholic bishops of Nigeria, whenever they make a statement, it's a statement that has so much impact. And just yesterday, they came up with a warning. We will reflect this on the front page of a New Telegraph. Violent uprising looms. Catholic bishops warn corrupt leaders.
Well, let me just quickly say that the Catholic bishops in this country, they are not given to glib talk. I mean, they don't talk glibly. Anytime they talk, there must be some seriousness attached to it. And that's because they don't compromise like some others would do. And that means that we have to listen to them very critically. Government has to listen. We are at the edge. That's what they are telling us. We are at the edge of the precipice in this country. And that's why they said a violent uprising looms. And sometimes it's so palpable. There are so many things weighing us down in this country, and our leaders are not paying attention. Rather, they are pursuing vainglory, things that do not quite matter to the daily survival of our people. And by the way, let's remember this, that the Catholic bishops have a reason to be worried, because in the last 2 or 3 years, over 50 priests have been killed in cold blood. Over 50 priests. Some are still, as we talk now, some are still in captivity. So you do not expect, not just Catholic bishops, a lot of people, many Nigerians are worried about what is going on in this country. Security is there, living conditions are getting poorer by the day, the infrastructure is getting poorer, and yet some of our leaders are living in opulence. They don't care. I mean, look at what is happening in the National Assembly, for instance. The Senate, okay? I mean, that's so scandalous. It's like somebody is being hunted by some kind of incubus. There's an albatross hanging on the neck of that officer. And it doesn't tell well on the integrity of the Senate. It doesn't tell well on the integrity of this nation. We are pursuing shadows, okay? But it's like an albatross that refuses to go away. We have had instances when the same officer, to be very specific, the Senate President has been accused some other directions, again because of loose talk.
That's true.
Women and things like that. Remember what he said when Ojukwu, what's the girl's name, who was screened as a minister, Bianca.
Yes.
Bianca Ojukwu was on the floor of the Senate, and the Senate President also said, "Oh, you are so pretty, you are so big. What's the business with our good looks, for goodness sake? I mean, the young woman came for screening."
Exactly.
And you were talking out of point. So these are issues, but I think that we must take heed. The Catholic bishops have spoken, and we must listen to them very critically, very, very critically.
Okay. Now, from the ambits of the law, I want to underline this: violent uprising looms. Is this not something like inciting?
No. I mean, they feel the pulse of the people. Even people in government have said it. They've said it that they have to do something quickly about what is happening. Labour people have said it. Okay? Ordinary folks, they go out and hear what people are saying. Ordinary folks have said about it. So it's not inciting. I mean, I don't say anything inciting about it. Okay? So we are not the one talking now.
Exactly, we're
right.
reflecting
So that's the headline news in the newspaper.
Yes.
Headline news. Okay.
Well, still all matters arise in Nigeria. We'll go to the front page of the Punch newspapers, where we have budget ultimatum. Pro-Wike lawmakers give condition to meet Fubara.
The old drama keeps unfolding,
unfolding.
every day. The drama of the absurd.
Hmm.
Rivers State, I mean, the issue in Rivers State alone puts Nigeria on the tenterhooks. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You know, all this back and forth movement, it doesn't weigh in appropriately. Okay, well, the olive branch has been extended by Fubara. Let's see how they respond to it. Maybe for political correctness, nobody can tell, but let's see how it plays out. Some of them have even given some very terrible conditionality that if you must come to your meeting, there are certain things to be met.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So, but I don't see any reason for that, okay? At the end of the day, there is talk about putting Rivers State on the edge. Coming from the pro-Fubara group,
Exactly.
all right,
Yes.
and the others too are not resting. So I'm sure that I interviewed a gentleman. You remember him, a centenarian, Babazoi.
Yeah.
He said some time ago, the man is over 100 years, and he said, "Look, my son, what is happening in Rivers State, we have to be very, very careful." That's what he said, and that's what is playing out now. We have to be careful. Otherwise, something more dramatic will happen, and nobody will be blamed for it, except the personnel themselves.
My boss here has always said something that for those who do not learn from history, they will never ever learn. I know I made this statement. It will bring us to still the same front page of the Punch newspapers. Federal government under fire over plans to import Europe waste.
Waste.
Yes, you remember the issue of cocoa.
Well, is that not part of the national problems we're talking about? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Because you see, when certain things happen and they appear to be absurd, you begin to ask yourself certain questions, okay? In another direction, the federal government is under pressure, bringing in waste, okay, from Europe.
Yes.
Why? The question is why? And Punch is a serious newspaper. Yes. Again, we have to take them seriously. There are newspapers in this country that you cannot wave away with the back of the hand. Punch obviously is one of them. So, but I believe that, yes, government has a duty to listen to critical stakeholders. The press is a critical stakeholder. That's why they're the fourth estate of the realm. We must listen to them. We must listen to what goes on the pages of the newspapers, in the editorials. Must listen. These are things to guide government appropriately. But when you decide to overlook them, then you run into troubled waters. Yes.
So this takes us to the Nigerian News Direct. Just a little talk around Fubara Fubara vows to pressure invite pro-Wike lawmakers to crucial meeting. You know why I'm actually going back to this? If he decides not to hold that meeting with them, it doesn't mean that there will be no peace in Rivers.
Is there peace in Rivers now?
Okay.
There's no peace.
And they are giving conditions for wanting to come
yes,
to that
no
meeting.
Peace. I think ultimately they want to remove Fubara.
Definitely, yes.
That is their ultimate aim. About the young man too, it's strong on the ground. Let's see how it plays out. Must we carry politics to a very ridiculous extent?
Exactly.
But we are carrying politics to a very ridiculous extent. Look at the people in this drama, for instance. They are holding on to very strong positions.
Yes.
Yes, no yielding of grounds. But I think that's what Fubara is trying to do. Let's have peace once and for all, and let's see how it goes. But some people somewhere, they believe that they are the owners of Rivers State, and they believe that whatever they say must hold true. And that's not the right position in politics. In politics, you give and you take.
Exactly.
Yes. It's not a win-win situation all the time. You win some, you lose some. That's what politics is all about. Okay?
We'll not come down. Still, we'll move down to politicians. It's always about corrupt politicians in the news in Nigeria. Front page, Guardian. Worries as EFCC recovers 1 trillion naira stolen cash assets from politicians.
The question that has always agitated my mind, even if it's 150 trillion, okay, fair enough. But this money, who do they trace it to?
Exactly.
You must name names. You must make sure that the names are in the open. It's not enough to say, 3 million or 3 trillion, 10 trillion has been recovered. From who? And in what circumstances? You're talking of properties and things like that. I mean, it just doesn't add up. You create room for suspicion, and everything becomes circumspect. So, but I think that the FCC, again, as an institution, must play according to the rules. When you say that, politicians, again, politicians, they can't be they can't be completely edgy. There's no escapism in some of these things. When you start away 500 million, for instance, that's half a billion. There's no reason why account must not be given for such things. And these are banana peels. Yes, the EFCC chairman has to be careful. I mean, some of his predecessors are running into trouble because of this. So he has to be careful. The other day, remember he said, this EFCC chairman, that when he was burying his mother or something, that how much I can't remember, but in tons of money. Yes, he resisted it. Politicians will not be happy about that. I can tell you.
Exactly.
If what he said was true, politicians will not be happy about that. And that's a banana peel, by the way. All right, so let's continue.
All right. For the past, since the present government came in, we've been talking about 2027. My question arises. We're not through what we have now. We're already thinking of the next elections. This brings us to the Daily Trust newspaper's front page, where we have 2027, Tinubu's re-election campaign kicks off in the north. President's son intensifies Ramadan visits.
Ramadan visit to who? I understand he visited Sheikh Gumi.
Yes, exactly.
Gumi, who is on the side of the bandits.
Yes.
So when you place all of these things together, do they make sense? Honestly, I keep asking myself, and a lot of Nigerians are asking the same question. Now, we have problems and problems in 2025. You're already thinking of 2027.
2027, yeah.
Where is governance? Where is governance? Infrastructure is not going up. People are living from hand to mouth, so to speak.
Exactly.
The fuel crisis is still there. Yes, it's within the 900 naira mark, and all that. It has not come down considerably. So there are issues upon issues upon issues. You are not tackling these issues. Everybody is looking out to 2027. You are leaving pursuing shadows, for instance. You are leaving the substance behind, And people already say that, look, if we must have a credible 2027, the chairman of INEC must go.
Yes.
I mean, people are already saying that.
Yes,
Nigerians across the board. They're already saying that, look, if we must have a credible election in 2027, the president chairman cannot give us a credible election. That's what they're saying. Don't forget, Jonathan said some time ago, it was not misquoted, he said it plainly, that, look, the way INEC is going on, they cannot give us a credible vote count. The former president, he knew what he was talking about, a credible vote count. And yet, presumably, maybe, that's the same person you are going to use for 2027. So where's the credibility that's coming on board? So this country, sometimes I sit in my quiet moments, I just wonder what is going on in this country. And a lot of people, I will tell you this quite frankly, a lot of people are giving up on the country. They are giving up. Ask people outside, it doesn't concern them anymore. Because their votes do not count. First of all. And if you watch very carefully, all the countries around the world, particularly the Western world, who are making waves, they pay special attention to the electoral process. The danger is, if your electoral process is not credible, it's likely to throw up the wrong people. Yes, and I've often said it on this station, that the wrong people usually cannot govern. It throws up the wrong people, particularly when there's apathy. And this apathy we are talking about has continued to be after each election.
Yes.
So, how can we build trust? That is what government now should be thinking about. How can we build trust in the electoral process? Because that's the kernel of our development. Okay? All other things are woven around it. We must have credible elections in this country. Babangida was talking the other day that they annulled the freest election we have ever had. After that election, option A4, have we had any credible election in this country?
No.
And yet, our political actors are afraid to go back to option A4 because they know that that's where the truth is.
The transparency is quite transparent.
And less expensive.
Yes.
There are no ballot boxes. There are no ballot papers. So why are they running away from option A4? Why? It has given us the most credible election in this country. Peaceful, seamless, across the country. They are running away from it. So there must be a reason. There must be a reason. Because there are no ballot boxes to snatch.
Exactly.
In option A4, for instance.
Yes.
Yes. No ballot papers to turn print illegally.
Yes.
So why are we running away from that option A4? Why?
Matters arising.
Matters arising.
Matters arising. We are going to just take this. It is not our usual style, but it's a trending matter, and that's why we want to take it. It's not on the front page of the newspapers. This issue of the institution as regards the Senate that's supposed to uphold the tenets of the law, they flouted an order from a federal high court. From the legal angle, how do you see this?
Who has not flouted orders in this country? Well, I've said it here before. Not even from my own legal background. I mean, from common sense. Who has not flouted court orders in this country? Because they see that the court system is weak. The court as an institution is weak. Okay? And we must have strong institutions. Individuals flout court orders at will. Governors, of course. Great number of governors, they flouted orders. Senators, House of Reps members, they flouted orders. Governments have flouted orders. So where are we going in this country? That is the point. In fact, they don't even have the right. A lot of senior advocates have talked about it. They don't have the right to suspend.
Exactly.
No, they don't.
Yes.
There are cases. All right, that can allude to this. But what I'm even saying, what pains me as a person is that when you talk about the National Assembly, the first body there is the Senate.
Yes.
Yes. That's why they are the red chambers. Okay? They are, by the way, the president of the Senate is the chairman of the National Assembly because he's higher and above the Speaker of the House of Reps.
Yeah.
All right. Now, look at the Natasha issue, for example. You are a judge in your own cause. That's against the rule of law. That's against justice.
Exactly.
Step aside, let somebody, and what they call a private investigator or whoever, let him go into the issue. The young woman has resubmitted, okay, fine, but she went to the court and the court said, no, you must stop.
Yeah.
But they refused.
Yeah.
And yet tomorrow you will tell her that you are the protector of the law. Doesn't make sense, doesn't it?
There was one statement that actually got my attention. I have my own reactions, which I wouldn't want to come on there. But then a lawmaker having to come out, who is the head of the ethics committee and all that, having to come out to say that the judiciary has no right to interfere in the affairs of the Senate.
Can you imagine? When Saraki had issues with what do you call it now, this organization that has to do with properties and things like that.
Okay, yes.
I can't quite remember now. He was temporarily stripped of his position.
Yes.
Yes, he went to the court to give evidence.
Yes.
Yes. When the bureau called him, yes, CCB, yes, they called him. And he went to the court. The Senate president, number 3 citizen in this country, cannot be isolated. Why? So, what are we talking about? It just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up because, first of all, nobody should be seen to be above the law. Nobody. That's why, in fact, people are even saying now, and it's constitutional matter, though, but they are saying, quite frankly, that there should be no immunity clause. There should be no immunity. If you commit some offense, even when you are the Senate president, you're going for it. Yes, you're going for it. They wait until after the tenure. This also affects governors, by the way. They wait until after the tenure. Then, as the governor is approaching the end of the tenure, he bolts away to the U.S. or Grenada or Haiti or somewhere, and then they will be looking for him all over the place. I mean, look, this country is a very funny country. It's a very funny country. The president of the United States was called to give evidence.
Yes.
Called to give evidence. Yes. So why are we dancing around in circles?
Well. Providence Television will keep on giving you updates. Yes, and the truth of the matter is that as the game changer, we are not biased in any way, as usual.
Well, I'll just give my what you call
yes,
usually referred
parting
to
shot.
as parting shot. The
Yeah.
parting shot. Let's look at it on the other side. We are going through. For adherents of 2 major religions, this is a time for us to do some introspection. Muslims are going through Ramadan, it has to do with fasting. The Christians are going through Lent, it has to do with fasting. 2 major religious bodies, organizations, are going through the same process simultaneously. What does that tell us? It tells us that we must do some real introspection. Because areas of commonality are there.
Yeah.
Give alms to the poor. The issue of forgiveness. The issue of goodwill to all manner of people.
Yes.
They are there. They are very common to both religions. In other words, what we are saying is that we must put away intolerance. Let us come together, particularly at this period. Muslims are fasting. Now, Christians are fasting. Let us see how these fasting processes will help this country. At the end of Ramadan, at the end of the Lenten season, let us see if Nigeria will get better. I'm not a pessimist, but this is the time when let's push away all those issues that do not unite us. Let us come together as Nigerians and as true adherents of two major religions. You know, if it were possible for African traditional people to fast with them, they would have fasted. Yes. But maybe they are doing that quietly on their own. But we're talking about Islam and Christianity. The Muslims and Christians are fasting now at the same time. During this period, I pray that God will heal our land, you know, of all kinds of troubles.
Thank you so much. Well, for you out there, thank you so much for staying tuned. I'll use this opportunity to please remind you, tell your friends and family about Providence Television International. Once again, thanks for watching. Please stay tuned.